Hello and welcome. You're watching the biggest story tonight with me, Shavan Sen. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal seems to be headed for more trouble, given the fact that he's now under the scanner in the Delhi Judge Board case, not just the liquor scam. In fact, coming Thursday, he's already been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in the Liquorgate investigation. But for the first time, a big statement now being made by the Enforcement Directorate. They've directly named Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, they say that K Kavitha orchestrated a deal with Arvind Kejriwal and then Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, wherein she, along with the other members of the South group, paid them kickbacks through a string of intermediaries and middlemen. In exchange of the kickbacks paid to the leaders of Aam Aadmi Party, she had access to the policy formulation and was offered provisions to ensure favorable position to her. We also have another breaking news, but before I take you through the second big breaking news coming in, a lead from both the agencies, that's the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation. Let me also introduce our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's been tracking the story very closely, given the fact that it is also going to have several political ramifications. The first big statement, for the first time, the Enforcement Directorate in the remand note does make a mention of Arvind Kejriwal, and also a statement that was issued by the agency earlier in the day. Abhishek, we're given to understand that Arvind Kejriwal has been directly named. All this while, the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying that these are bogus allegations that have been leveled, but with the Enforcement Director taking a step further, naming the Chief Minister, it only augurs more trouble for the Chief Minister. Before we also get the other breaking news, first to you, Abhishek.
Well, Shavan, so obviously we have tracked the developments closely, both of us together, and remember, at every stage, from the time that the preliminary inquiry happened, from the time to the time that the Chief Secretary recommended action to the Lieutenant Governor, then the Lieutenant Governor asking the agencies to look into it, we have always had same response from the Aam Aadmi Party leadership, which is that this is a bogus investigation, this is a bogus inquiry, this is a bogus witch hunt. But you see, at every stage, as things have progressed, from questioning to investigation to arrest to subsequent appearance in the courts to bail hearings, at every stage of progress of investigation, the courts have not given reprieve to the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, be it Satin Jain earlier or Manish Sisodia now or Sanjay Singh in between. And the fact that someone like K Kavitha has been arrested, Shavan, clearly shows that there is there is a lot of evidence with the agencies which gives them the confidence to go ahead and make those kind of arrests. Remember, this is election season, and this kind of arrest can give a sympathy factor going in favor of the leader. And despite that, if the agencies are doing it, if they have the free hand to do it, obviously shows that they have something up their sleeves. We have seen how the money trail was accepted as real by the High Court, Delhi High Court, even as the Aam Aadmi Party still continued to bandy the bogus investigation argument. We have seen how court after court, from the Rouse Avenue Court to the Delhi High Court, even the Supreme Court, they have refused bail to the leaders involved. And now, of course, the information that you bring in that the agency is contemplating getting on to another very senior leader involved in the case and the possibility of arrest anytime soon. So I think while on the part of the Aam Aadmi Party, their bogus investigation argument seems to be proffered because they don't have anything else. On the part of agencies, with every step we have seen, they're getting the confidence to say, no, this is not a right time to give bail because we have a lot of evidence. And as of now, it seems there is a crucial stage of investigation when they, after arresting K Kavitha, might get on to, we have seen summons coming into Arvind Kejriwal. We don't know whether it would be actually Arvind Kejriwal. The agency has not named him, but obviously things moving in that direction.
Well, in fact, I'll just request you to stay on with us with a quick update that we're also getting in from our agency sources. Remember, there are two agencies looking into this matter, the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate. We're getting in some more breaking news in connection to the Liquorgate. Agency top sources have now confirmed to Republic TV that a top leader likely to be summoned soon. Let's put out that big breaking news now coming in. This in the backdrop that the Central Bureau of Investigation during the hearing that took place earlier in the day, the bail plea of the then Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The Central Bureau of Investigation indicated that a high-profile person could be actually arrested in this entire matter. But what's important to point out here is that I'm given to understand, Abhishek, that there is a high possibility that a top leader could be summoned. In fact, they are in the process of looking at making the person concerned and accused in this particular case, and there's also a possibility of the person being charge sheeted by one of the agencies. We are not putting out more details because, remember, the investigation is still underway. A quick update from you, Abhishek, because the fact that the agencies have now gone to the court and indicated that there is a possibility of arrest to be made because they've made they've gathered fresh evidence, and the fact that they are naming a sitting chief minister in a statement that was issued earlier today, it's quite unprecedented because we've never seen the agencies really naming anyone, that too in a statement that has been issued.
No, in fact, I am tempted to ask this question to you, Shravan. The fact that at every stage, the agencies say that they have credible evidence, the courts believe them. Today, in fact, Manish Sisodia was again denied, has been asked, the agency has said that please don't give bail to him because there is likelihood of we even going ahead and making another important arrest. And the fact that the court has established a money trail and agreed with it, with the agencies, you think that it's almost like the agencies believe it's an open and shut case for them?
Well, that's right, Abhishek, because it does appear right now that, as you rightly pointed out, with every passing phase of the investigation, we've seen that the agencies have been extremely bold in the statements that they have made. In this particular case, they've also made a mention of the fact that K Kavitha has destroyed certain evidence. They've gone a step further by saying that they've orchestrated a deal, even though you have Arvind Kejriwal, who's not appeared before the agency. The agency has now named Arvind Kejriwal, and they say that a deal was struck between K Kavitha, Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. Thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast, Abhishek. As you're getting us more details, it does appear that in the coming few days, the agencies likely to gain more pace in the investigation that has been carried on. Moving on to news coming in from Karnataka, a shopkeeper was allegedly attacked near Siddhana layout in Bengaluru on Sunday after he allegedly played Hanuman Chalisa. Videos of the incident circulated on social media showed a confrontation between the shopkeeper and a group of youngsters. The confrontation escalated into physical violence. Now, in an exclusive, Republic also spoke to the victim of the assault. Let's listen.
मुकेश, कल क्या हुआ मुझे बता सकता है?
सर, कल शाम 6 बजे करीब मैं गाना बजा रहा था सर, भगवान के गाना सुन रहा था, तो 6 लोग आए, मेरे को 3 लोग बात किया, मुस्लिम लोग थे कि अज़ान का टाइम है, बजाओ मत, नहीं तो मार खाओगे। मैं बोला अभी अज़ान का टाइम नहीं है और उधर डिस्टर्ब भी करता नहीं, बहुत दूर है इधर से मस्जिद, तो आपको तकलीफ क्यों हो रही है? तू इतना बात कर मत कर, तो नहीं तो तू मार खाएगा। मैं सामने आया, क्यों मार खाऊंगा करके, तो उन्होंने पकड़ के मारना शुरू किया मुझे, और मैं मेरे को डिफीट करने के लिए मैं दुकान से बाहर जाके उनको मारने लगा, तो उन्होंने एक साथ में मेरे को गिरा दिया और मारने लगे।
कौन सा भजन आपने लगाया था इधर?
सर, हनुमान जी का एल्बम बजाया था, वो टाइम हनुमान चालीसा बजा, हाँ वो टाइम हनुमान चालीसा बज रहा था सर।
आप रोज बजाता है?
हाँ सर, मैं रोज बजाता हूँ, मेरे आस-पास दुकान वाले सभी को पूछ सकते हो, मैं सुबह और एक शाम टाइम बजाता हूँ, और एक कल संडे भी था, और मैं स्पीकर बेचता हूँ, मेरा स्पीकर का बिजनेस है। अगर मैं साउंड नहीं बजाऊंगा तो लोगों को मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा मैं क्या बिजनेस करता हूँ, वो हिसाब से मैं बजाया था। और स्पीकर भी ज़्यादा बड़ा नहीं था सर, ये इतना छोटा स्पीकर था सर, किसी को सुनाई नहीं देता ना, वो चुपके इश्यू बना के मेरे को मार के गए सर।
कौन कौन आया था? आपको पहचानते हैं वो लोग? आपने
सर, मेरे को पहचानते नहीं वो लोग, ऐसे।
And upping the ante against the Siddaramaiah government, the BJP hit the streets demanding immediate action. Listen in to what BJP parliamentarian Tejasvi Surya had to say.
Evening, Mukesh, who is a honest, hard-working shopkeeper in Nagaratpet, was conducting his business in the evening. And in the evening time, He tells me that every day evening he had a practice of playing devotional songs, Hanuman Chalisa, on his speaker. Last evening, while he was conducting his business, attending to his customers, and playing the Hanuman Chalisa, a few miscreants came to his shop, the whole of which is captured on CCTV. They started an argument with him and demanded him to switch off and stop playing the Hanuman Chalisa. When he refused to do so, he was literally pulled out of his store, and 6 to 7 of these miscreants thrashed him, attacked him, and you may see the kind of injuries that Mukesh has sustained. He was all alone, and more than 7 to 8 of them have caused grievous hurt on his back, on his chest, on his head, temple and face. Immediately thereafter, Mukesh and the neighboring shopkeepers tried to reach the nearest police station to register an FIR. Even after submitting a detailed written complaint, the local police did not register an FIR. It was only after the intervention of Shri PC Mohan and myself and our local BJP leaders that at a belated stage an FIR was registered. And the locals here are also apprehensive that the police have filed a diluted FIR and have also registered or added names of certain people who may not be involved in the crime itself.
Well, moving on to some global stories now. 8 people were killed in airstrikes by the Pakistani military in the border regions of Afghanistan. Border tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan have risen since the Taliban government seized power in 2021, with Islamabad claiming groups are carrying out regular attacks from the neighboring country. Now, the strikes come after 7 Pakistani troops were killed in an attack inside Pakistani territory on Saturday, for which the country's president Asif Ali Zardari vowed retaliation. What you see right now are these images that are coming in of the airstrikes that were carried out around 3 o'clock in the morning local time. In fact, a stinging response has also come in from Afghanistan. A quick recap before I also bring in our Islamabad reporter Kaswar on this entire matter. Pakistan, remember, says that the TTP is being harbored by Afghanistan Taliban, and that is the reason why these attacks were necessitated. In fact, they say that one terrorist of the TTP was under the radar, that is Abdullah, who's a member of the Tehrik-e-Taliban, and that is the reason why these airstrikes were actually carried out. Multiple airstrikes were carried out, and Afghanistan once again has warned Pakistan that if this basically continues, it really won't augur well for the country. Let me quickly bring in our Islamabad reporter while we stay on these images and bring in Kaswar too. Kaswar, a quick response from you. What is it that you have picked up from the Pakistani establishment with regards to the attacks that were basically carried out earlier in the day? Pakistan says that Tehrik-e-Taliban was on the radar. Afghanistan has had a stinging response. Quickly take us through the action that was taken by the Pakistanis. It's going to perhaps have a major ramification in the days to come.
Well, Shaman, let me tell you, 2 conflicting statements are coming from the 2 brotherly countries. Pakistan claimed that it has killed the mastermind of yesterday's attack. Remember, as you have rightly pointed out, that 7 Pakistan soldiers were martyred, and the mastermind Pakistan claimed have been perished. But on the other hand, we heard, I have spoken to the Zabiullah Mujahid over the telephone. He confirmed that the Pakistani airstrike has killed 8 people, including women and children. But I am not in a position to confirm whether which side is speaking the truth. But one thing is for sure, that is the already fragile relationship between the 2 countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. It is going to soar once again, and the gulf between the 2 countries is going to widen, followed by this strike as well. Shaman.
Well, Kaswa, just a quick question before I let you go. With regards to Afghanistan's response in this entire matter, Afghanistan says that this is not going to augur well and this is an act of war. Is there any response really coming in? Does the Pakistani establishment fear some sort of a retaliation from Afghanistan Taliban?
Well, Pakistan is not fearing any retaliatory attack by Afghanistan. You know, there's a big difference between the two sides when it comes to the army side, law enforcement justice. But one thing is that Pakistan have been faced at the front of terrorist attack, and followed by this strike, there could be an increase in the terrorist attack, and which Pakistan claimed they have were carried out by the terrorists which have sanctuaries in Afghanistan. So I think in this way, Pakistan can fear the more frequencies of attacks, terrorist attack inside Pakistan. But regarding the country to country, military to military attacks, I think Pakistan have the edge.
Well, thank you very much, Kaswar, for getting us that comprehensive report from the border regions of Pakistan and Afghanistan, a story that we'll be tracking very closely as it has got massive security ramifications. Well, in Russia, Vladimir Putin warned the West that a direct conflict between Russia and the US-led NATO military alliance would mean the planet was one step away from World War III, but said hardly anyone wanted such a scenario. This comes after Vladimir Putin won his 5th term as Russia's president with a record number of votes. Listen in to that statement.
Macron talks about possible deployment of foreign military in Ukraine. Do you think that the full-scale conflict between Russia and NATO, is it possible? Is it realistic? I think anything is possible in today's world, and it's clear to everyone this would be one step from a full-scale World War III. I don't think people would be interested in that. As for the French president,
let me also bring in Pathikrit Prem, security analyst, joining us on this broadcast. Pathikrit, this undoubtedly comes across as a big setback for the Ukrainians, but at the same time, a big message for the West too, that they will have to perhaps calibrate their approach towards dealing with Russia at this point in time.
Well, absolutely, Shravan. If you look at it in the last 2 years, there is no doubt that no stone has been unturned by the West to have some kind of a regime change in Russia, and efforts have been made towards that. There has been a lot of stories that were planted about the health of President Putin. It was projected as if he is losing the war in Ukraine. Today, after the election has been won, I think for the next 6 years now that President Putin will continue to remain the president of Russia, it adds enormous amount of impetus for him to go ahead for what he wants to do the next. And invariably today, Western Europe and United States is no more in a position to dictate the terms so far as the Ukraine war is concerned as they used to do in the past. We have seen how gradually they have reduced their support, military support for Ukraine. In fact, they have almost literally disowned Ukraine so far as this war is concerned. So invariably, there is no denial of the fact that neither the Russian economy has been dismantled, neither President Putin has become weaker, nor the Ukrainians are winning the war. Against this backdrop today, as things stand, President Putin also realizes that West is gradually becoming far more unpopular for the rest of the world, especially about what's happening in Middle East included. So I think this statement about a nuclear war comes in. It is a clear message for those who still want to continue the war in Ukraine, especially against the backdrop of some statements that was made from France on this issue.
Right.
And it seems that Putin and Russia is more prepared, far better prepared to do what they want to do so far as the next stand on this issue is concerned.
Well, as 2024 sees several elections actually taking place across the globe. Remains to be seen whether at all there would be a recalibration in the manner that we are dealing with Russia. The Ukrainians on the other side extremely worried with the prospect of Putin continuing as the president.